Ну что, продолжаем. Так, это что такое появилось? Что это за буква? Непонятно, что за И, блядь. Значит, продолжаем мы искать однорукую бандитку, блядь, в лице безумной матушки, блядь.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Зачем ваша мать прячется какую неделю? Оставьте меня в покое. Я на все согласился, даже на еблю в задницу. Но ведь вы понимаете, что вашей матери придется отсосать много хуев. Надеюсь, ваши поиски венчаются успехом. Да заткнись ты нахуй, а. Я ухожу, даже знать не хочу, что вы тут задумали. С тех самых пор, как мы слились воедино, моя сестра перестала быть Эммой. Эмили Хилсборо, женщина с двумя лицами.
Everyone seems to be a little unnecessarily heated. Don't forget where you are, please.
Так, стоп, да, блядь, идите нахуй, ну, пожалуйста. Так, у меня тут дохера, короче, каких-то книг фолиантов, блядь, заебали нахуй эти смс-ки, честное слово, блядь. Наука. Давайте качать науку. Доступные манускрипты H2 можно, блядь. Так. Вот этот. И что тут? Эрудиция. Допрос. Наука. О, вот этот я обчитаю сейчас. Удерживаем, да. Отлично. Короче, я тут прокачался нехило. Вход в склеп. События, предшествующие вот этому, что мы сейчас видели. Какому-то странному допросу. Глава 3. Или эпизод 3, как там правильно. Вот. Эпизод 3.
Louis, the conference is about to start any minute. This is not the time to...
Сейчас не время для... Ебать, копать. Что произошло? Я точно знаю, мистер Вашингтон. Я искал мать и наткнулся на вот это, блядь. Боже, неужели это сделал Сара? Вот она, зараза, блядь. Ваша Сара, конечно. Так, неужели это была Сара? Ну, не знаю, я ж не знаю. Нахуя ей нападать на слугу? Хуй его знает, блядь. По его лицу прям так и понятно, что такое. Вопрос, блядь. Если никто не видел, советую съебаться, чтоб никто не обвинил в убийстве вас. Да, пора, говорит, отваливать. Время истекает. Разберитесь здесь. Ёбаный в рот, блядь. Я могу это убрать нахуй, этот звук ебаный, блядь. Как это сделать нахер? Блять, наверное, вот так вот. Все, отлично. Так, я что-то проебал, что-нибудь там пиздят. Если вы хотите, чтобы вас искало еще больше слуг, советую привести себя в порядок. Покажите большую услугу самому себе и Саре. На собрании поддержите Мортимера. Поддержать? В чем его поддержать? Хуй знает, блядь. Не хочу давать. Вот, мне ничего не известно, я все правильно говорю, блядь. Хуй знает, что там задумали, блядь. Старые извращенцы, блядь.
As you wish. You will see once you hear everything. But given the situation,
как пожелаешь. Вы все поймете, когда выслушаете. Учитывая обстоятельства, вы только выиграете. Мы что, в карты играть там собираемся в игру? Или в монополию, блядь? Так, ну что, надо же обсмотреть вот этого товарища. Давай все обглядим так. Он мертв. Да ну нахуй, блядь, он мертв. Бля, сразу 3, блядь. А ну давай вот это еще осмотрим, попробуем. Ну, пошли такое. Фу, блядь, рукав выпачкал. Снять маску, давай. И что же ему тут нужно было? Его лицо мне незнакомо. Я даже разочарован. В чем-то разочарован. То, что лицо его незнакомо. Ну, это дичь какая-то, блядь. Так. Наука, бля, и батя ж встретил. Ударили чем-то по затылку. И все, что ли? У него сломана шея. Значит, кто-то здоровенный ему сломал. Если это убили его вы... Ох, нихуя себе, гляди. Это что такое лежит? Кто-то сжег костер, пепел до сих пор теплый. Матушка с одной рукой, это явно было непросто. А смотреть пепел, блядь. Я бы застал ее, если бы не был. Там что? Старое одеяло. Остатки еды. Какую-то книгу, блядь. Зародили. Так, что-то тут. Неудивительно, ворота заперты. Еще что-нибудь можем тут рассмотреть? Ох, это хренотень. Надеюсь, пригодится. Что там? Чего? У меня всего по 5, а меда нету ни хрена. Абсолютно. Как вообще можно что-то вот... Ладно, уходим нахер отсюда. Лучше что-то рассмотреть нечего, правильно? Ну, я надеюсь, что нечего. Ну, так, надо в зал, да, вернуться, я так понимаю. Лабиринты, хуинты, блядь. И вуаля, мы появились там, где нужно почти. Опа. Не берется золотой эликсир. Поэтому 20 миллионов, блядь, сообщений уже написали. Да пиздец просто. Ты кто такой? А, мне, наверное, вниз нужно, да? Или нет? Мне сюда, наверное, нужно. Так, что здесь? Блядь, кругом эти золотые эликсиры. Ебать, народ сидит, блядь, такой восседает возле круглого стола, прям ебать. И рыцари, блядь. Ну чё, куда мне сесть? Или со всеми нужно попиздеть? Они тут по кучкам что-то по интересам разбрелись все. Сейчас я сначала все обшмонаю, может где-то что-то как-то. Вот монетку кто нашел. А, осколок янтаря. Монета. Шкатуляка. В виде алхимического символа. А у меня есть этот ключ. Ага. Чё, хрен там взломать второй замок? Уровень сложности. Не могу. Так, отсюда я пришел, да, походу? Нет, не отсюда я пришел. Ага. А вот и мед. Давай. Восстановим 2 очка действий и возьмем еще одну монеточку. Вот еще что-то стоит, гляди. Понятно. Так, ну что, начнем с вот этих товарищей. Луи.
Thank you for joining us. We are about to begin our conference. Let me explain what is at stake.
Thank you kindly. But what do you expect of me exactly?
Чем могу вам помочь? Это не моя мать. Это же моя мать должна быть на собрании.
Unfortunately, she still hasn't been found, and my guests can't stay here indefinitely. The conference must begin.
Короче, пиздёж. Кому-то нужно занять место матушки, и вы лучший вариант, чтобы это сделать.
And should you need any advice, don't worry, you are not alone, Louis.
Very well.
Ну что? Как проходит собрание?
How do you organize your discussions?
A conference is always organized the same way. There are 2 masters of ceremony who determine an important subject.
You and Sir Gregory, I presume.
Exactly. We shall be the masters of ceremony. It was our obligation to each bring to the table several guests in order to debate a subject. Once the debate is closed, a decision will be made by a vote of all the participants.
By a unanimous vote. If the project is not agreed on by all, then it will be rejected.
And neither of the 2 masters of ceremony have the right to vote.
It's up to the guests alone to decide, Louis. In other words, us.
Gregory and myself are merely the go-betweens. Finally, if the project is validated, each guest goes home and starts working to make it happen.
It can take years.
Чему посвящено собрание?
Explanation of the aim of it all?
Of course, Louis, I was coming to that. The aim of these meetings is to bring together the most influential people in order to think together about the future.
But the future of who?
Of the world,
Ух
Louis.
ты, блядь,
Our
как завел.
desire is to steer the
Всего
destiny of
мира,
our
Louis.
respective countries for the good of all, and to no longer suffer the random hazards of history.
Так, другим вопросом. Да нет у меня больше вопросов, блядь.
Let me keep you a moment. I
Ну
would
чё?
like to let you in on a secret before we begin, because I'm going to need your assistance.
Хочу подсветить вас в
The
свои
project
планы.
I'm going to present concerns the territory of Louisiana in North America. It's currently Spanish territory, and I'm going to make the proposition to the Assembly for it to become French.
Что-то там про Францию. А я здесь при чем, блядь?
How does that concern me?
Well, you see, I prepared this project with your mother. We began thinking about a crazy idea. Unfortunately, Sarah went missing before getting the bigger picture. I don't intend to stop at Louisiana. My idea is to increase the territory of the United States. The first stone of this vast project consists of getting Spain to cede Louisiana to France. Once it becomes French, France will hand it over to the United States, which will then allow them to double the size of their territory. And that's where you come in. France and the United States, hand in hand, 2 democracies illuminating the world.
Так, что там?
Why spread it over 2 phases? Why not announce the overall project immediately?
Unfortunately, if Spain were to hear that the intention of all this is to allow the United States to grow, they would never sign. Manuel Godoy is perfectly aware of President Washington's appetite. If the United States took Louisiana, Godoy would know full well that he will have lost the entire North American continent. Things must take place in several stages. Otherwise, the change will be too brutal, and he will have no choice but to reject the project. Take a look at them. Apart from President Washington, they all belong to monarchies. Do you really think they won't resist? Of course they'll fight, fearful as they are of losing their precious privileges. But the world needs visionaries, like you, like your mother. It's a pity Sarah isn't here to see it. She only knew about a tiny part of the project. I hope I can count on you, Louis. It's time to start now. I must ask you to keep it to yourself for the time being. Take a seat, follow the discussions. We'll have an opportunity to catch up later, and you'll be able to let me know your thoughts.
Какую-то хуйню он там задумал.
My friends, I propose we get started. First of all, I would like to thank you for taking the time to come.
The honor is ours, my lord.
As per our custom, here we are all together to discuss the face of tomorrow's world. Even though there may be certain tensions between our nations, I must ask you to keep an open mind. As Sarah de Richet is unable to be among us, please welcome Louis de Richet, who will represent the Golden Order and will vote on its behalf when the time comes.
Welcome among us, Louis.
Welcome, Monsieur.
I hope he'll be more effective than his mother regarding the protection of the King of France. The order has proved particularly
блядь, какой-то
inefficient.
противный
Come,
мужик,
Manuel,
блядь.
you're not going to spoil our visit. The Order's mission was not to protect King Louis XVI, as far as I am aware.
We are talking about a king of divine blood, for goodness sake. It seemed obvious to me he needed
Это
protection.
все сами короли
If the
придумали, что они
Golden Order
посланные
wants
Богом,
to
блядь.
pride itself on being an influential organization, it should have kept him alive.
I'm sorry about the fate of the King of France, Duke Manuel. However, I'm surprised at your remark. How can a man like me have changed the course of things where a man like you, powerful, capable of influencing international politics, was unable to do any better?
Perhaps we may begin, Lord Mortimer. Certainly. I have a dream that our nations will continue to support each other, more now than ever before. A dream that, for the sake of common good, we will do what it takes to ensure stability in the modern world. I have a dream that we shall lead by example and ensure that the American territory may remain in peace.
Thank you for the thought, Lord Mortimer, but I don't see where you're leading.
I'm coming to it, Mr. President. I need not remind you that North America is currently divided between the United States on the East Coast and Spain, which occupies the remaining 2/3 of the continent. Well, I propose that Spain cede the center of the continent to
Предлагаю
France,
Испании передать
namely all of Louisiana.
Франции, Луизианы, блядь. Они там Америку делят.
Lord Mortimer, I sincerely hope I have not come all this way just to hear you ramble on about what Spain should and should not do. When we went to all the trouble of gaining the territory a few years ago, it was not just to lose it today. Have I made myself clear?
What did I tell you, William? You speak of union, and yet here you are, about to tear us apart.
Duke Manuel, I perfectly understand you, but rest assured, you will soon adore my proposition. You shall see.
Well, since you give me the choice, my good fellow, allow me to doubt it. However, I am impatient to hear what Spain could possibly gain from the sale of Louisiana.
I never spoke of a sale, my good fellow.
What? But I do not understand.
There is one more territory left to conquer, if I'm not mistaken, in the northwest. It is, of course, occupied by your notorious Indians, but...
We shall soon be rid of the savages, so that is not the question.
Duke, these savages, as you call them, were there before you. They are on their homeland.
As much as the black people of Africa, Monsieur de Richet. That does not stop your dear France from massacring them and sending them like cattle to Mr. Washington's cotton plantations to provide him with cheap labor. So you keep your morals to yourself, if you please.
Senor, I would not like to be associated with that. The subject of
Сейчас мы,
black
блядь,
slaves
за
in the
индейцев
United States of
попиздим.
America is a complex subject, which we shall resolve at a future date.
Senor Godoy, you must know that France will soon ban these barbaric practices.
Oh, do not get on your high horse, Monsieur Frenchman. The only reason why France has ceased trading in slaves is because of the commercial blockade that Great Britain has imposed against you. The instant the shipping lanes have been restored, France will again treat these people like cattle.
Come now, my friends, let us not digress. Anyway, these primitive people have no souls, Louis. We bring the good word to them in order to save them.
Нет души у них, блядь, вот так вот нахуй.
Colonization brings with it many benefits too.
Вот, блядь, мышление у людей было. Ебать ковырять надо.
I shall continue. Duke Manuel, I believe that Spain should cede Louisiana to France,
Бесплатно передать
free of
Луизиану
charge.
Францию.
This is utterly grotesque, Lord Mortimer. What a strange example you set for your young protege. Isn't that so, Monsieur de Richet? Do you understand anything of this proposition?
А я не могу, блядь, ничего, ёбаный в рот. У меня, блядь, ни политика не прокачана, ни убеждения, блядь, не прокачано.
I must say, William, I find your project mostly disfavors me. I thought you were my friend.
And I am, Mr. President. That is why I'm doing everything in my power to calm your expansionist fervor. France, in Louisiana, should persuade you not to attempt anything to take the territory by force. Louisiana is a vast wetland where you would needlessly lose most of your troops. It would weaken you and offer certain nations the perfect opportunity to take back your famous United States.
Опа. А что это случилось? Йоу, блядь.
I am protecting you from yourself, George. Trust me.
I understand. But with friends like you, sir, I certainly don't need any more enemies. I hope you know what you're doing.
Not to put too fine a point on it, Lord Mortimer, but I doubt the Holy See would be in favor of Catholic Louisiana being handed over to secular revolutionaries and king killers.
I should think Monsieur de Richet has an opinion on this subject, does he not?
Блядь, короче, я молчу, блядь, всю дорогу.
I doubt the English crown will agree.
Ich versichere Ihnen, Emily, nie Preußen wird diese Vereinbarung akzeptieren.
И чё? Нихуя. О, блядь, не успел.
Duchess, I am persuaded that we shall find
Твою
common
мать.
ground.
That's enough, William. These are grave times. We don't care about the fate of Louisiana.
Я думал, ему что-то ответить нужно, оказывается, нет. На него нужно было посмотреть или понять, что он там ебанул на английском языке, блядь. Бля, как заебал нахуй этот кашель, честное слово. Так, что он там, блядь? О, психология у меня развита.
Mortimer's adversaries are ready to tear each other to pieces, and he takes a malicious pleasure in
За ними,
watching
говорит,
it happen.
наблюдает, блядь.
How dare you!
Gentlemen, let us try to remain calm.
There you are, William. See where your projects have taken us, as per usual. Chaos. That's enough. I'm tired. We shall continue this discussion tomorrow, but please be aware that your project will never be ratified. Those who are opposed to this project, follow me.
Так, напудренный пидор съебался.
Are you coming with us, Monsieur de Richet?
Come, Gregory, I think Louis would rather stay. Wouldn't you, Louis?
Ну, давай останусь, блядь. Я нихуя не понимаю, что происходит, да и в рот его ебать.
Sir Gregory.
You are committing a grave error, Louis.
Time will tell.
Попиздели все, разругались нахер. Отлично.
My friends, I would like to thank you for staying.
Good God, William. What is this I hear
Не,
about you
я с
reinforcing
ним остался,
military
потому что,
power in
блядь,
Louisiana? I have
мне
no
интересно
interest
знать,
in
блядь,
having
что он там
plans
нахуй,
forever, and you know that very well.
как он,
Calm down,
секрет его
George.
долголетия, в общем.
Louis, explain our plan to Mr. Washington, please.
You see, Mr. President, Lord Mortimer anticipates that once France obtains Louisiana, they will cede it to you.
What do you mean? To us? The United States?
You heard right.
But
President Washington, the United States will double in size.
by what miracle have you...
You need to expand, George. You and France are the two major democracies in the modern world. It is necessary that you both become superpowers.
Are you really going to sponsor democracy throughout the world?
Of course, Monsieur Peru. That's why I don't want Spain to get too attached to those weapons. Please continue, Louis. Explain my vision to Mr. President.
Так, что там, блядь?
By going through France, Spain won't suspect that it's you who's going to take possession of Louisiana. They'll even believe that France will be a protective buffer between itself in California and you on the East Coast. If Senor Godoy was afraid that you might take the territory by force, now he's reassured. You would never attack France.
But why didn't you tell me before?
Ну, блядь.
So that Lord Mortimer would appear to be isolated without support.
Exactly. You got it, Louis.
Lord Mortimer retains the advantage by advancing undercover, and for it to work, he needed you to act surprised.
William, you haven't changed. Always one step ahead.
One step ahead? You're joking. More like 5.
On that note, my friends, it's getting late. Mr. President, continue to take offense over my project when we resume the conference in the morning. You do it to a T. And if Sir Gregory has the audacity to send you an emissary to convince you to go against me, do me a favor. String him along if you can. The more they believe we are divided, the more we'll have our hands free.
Only too happy to oblige.
Now, let us get some rest. We've got a big
Завтра
day
важный
tomorrow.
день.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night.
Louis, if you have a minute, I would like to ask a
Кто
favor.
убил моего воробья,
I'm going
блядь?
to require your services.
How can I be of help? Tell me all about it.
Our adversaries are many, and the closing vote of the conference will soon be upon us. Time is of an essence, so I'll need you to assist me this evening.
How can I help?
I need you to go this very evening to persuade Senor Godoy to join us. He is the backbone of Gregory's resistance. Turn him round, and all the others will follow in such a stampede that Gregory will be able to do nothing but admit defeat.
Lord Mortimer, with all due respect, don't you think I'm the last person Godoy wants to talk to?
I'm sure you can do it. I believe
Да
in
не
you.
будь так уверен, блядь.
Lord Mortimer, you're not telling me everything.
Let's say I wouldn't disapprove if the Right Honorable, though nonetheless choleric, Duke Manuel put you in his bad books. If it could motivate him to declare war on France, it would greatly serve our interests.
War? What do you mean?
I told you before the conference, the more we distract Spain from the Americas, the less it will have an eye on Louisiana.
But all the same, we're talking about a war in Europe.
Don't worry. That's why Mr.
Об этом
Bonaparte is with us.
позаботится
I
месье
am convinced
Бонапарт.
we'll be perfectly capable of managing the conflict. And Senor Godoy is not a great soldier. He will not commit Spain to a long war that he won't be capable of managing.
I'll go straight away.
Thank you, my boy. And get some
Нихуя у
rest
него глаза,
afterwards.
блядь.
Big day tomorrow.
Так, ну хуй знает.
Aren't you afraid our projects for Italy may be discovered before we... Oh, please excuse us, Louis, but I need to speak with Lord Mortimer in private.
No. What do you want, Louis?
I'm going to have a word with
Да,
Duke
что лучше ему
Manuel,
сказать,
but
блядь?
you know him better than I do, I believe.
Yes. Avoid any marks of respect and protocol pertaining to his rank. He's not fond of courtly manners.
Thank you for the advice, my lord. I shall be leaving you.
Нахуй, не знаете, как оно там проходить будет, это утреннее собрание. Пошли доебем этого, блядь, психопата ссаного. Ничего собрать. Опа, что-то лежит, смотри, блядь. Чирик. Опа, чирик.
Dante's Purgatory.
Чистилище.
What is your mind presumed to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form? Charming.
Ладно, пойдем искать этого гандоя, блин. Где, блядь, этот? Так, это куда нас ведет? Это, по-моему, в башню эту.
Monsieur Johann van Vulne.
Это он, что ли, блядь, да? Или кто это? Вон. Опа, у него книженция лежит. Что?
The Great Work of the Soul by S. Madone. Pure alchemy is a thought, an art that is performed on the matter of the soul. Great alchemists work to transform and perfect the latter by a series of processes known as the Great Work. There are 4 phases to attain the ultimate and spiritual fulfillment.
Короче, он долго будет читать, да, я так понимаю?
Metaphorical as occult theories go, the human spirit being the prima materia of the alchemist. The alchemist is a young man.
Алхимист. Алхимист, блядь.
A chest locked with a 4-letter code, surely will close to the owner's heart.
Воспользоваться знамениями я не могу. Варь. Какая нахуй варь, блядь. Нихуя не взломал. Где этот Годой? Че хуй кто он там, блядь? Я правильно понимаю, ты к нему залетел? Опа, это что такое? Письмо. Так, понятно, это Мортимера. А где его искать-то, ёп? Или у него другая там хата, блядь? Давай пробежим, посмотрим, что ж. Еще кружочек нарежем, блядь. Ну тут эта вот беготня тоскливая, это просто пиздец. А это куда ведет? Это ни хера непонятно.
President George Washington.
Ага, Джордж Вашингтон.
Monseigneur, His Eminence Cardinal Piaggi.
Так, это...
That's me.
Кто стучится в дверь моя, видишь, дома нет никто. Так, это кто такой?
Monsieur
Ага, это кто он и есть.
You wouldn't have seen Duke Manuel by any chance, would you?
I was going to ask you the same question.
I wanted to speak to him, but no one will open the door. I'm not sure he's in there.
If I want to pass through, I'll have to get Volner out of the way.
Так, и что это такое?
Perhaps he didn't hear you. Did you try entering?
No, of course not.
It would not be proper, after all.
Oh, now wait a minute. Yes, I remember now. I think I saw him in the garden.
In the garden? No, you must be mistaken. I've just come from there. I would have seen him.
Oh, I must have seen someone else then.
Most certainly. Oh well, he's bound to turn up at some point. I'll wait.
Ну и чё?
Impossible to get through with him.
А, это он стучится тут стоит.
We'll have to find another way into Godoy's room.
Пойду через свою комнату, блядь, и через это обойду. Я понял, блядь, намек этой игры. Вот так вот, блядь. Нашему разведчику удалось кое-что выяснить. Мистер Хей действительно намеревался заключить соглашение с Великобританией. Похоже, они хотят подорвать экономику Франции и Испании, перекрыв морские торговые пути. Ладно, хуй с ним.
Mary Louise of Parma. How ironic having a painting of the Queen of Spain in one's room, my Lord Duke. Hey, it looks like someone slipped something in the back here. It's a letter. Let's see what it says. It reeks of perfume, and it's written in Spanish. Godoy, you really are a little devil.
На испанском языке у меня языки не развиты. Что еще вот интересного есть? Угу. Вода тут какая-то кармелитовская, блядь. А, вот это вот уже интереснее.
The remedy of the gods. The kiss of Judas, painted by Caravaggio. This is how Judas pointed out Christ to the Roman soldiers. Don Quixote. Talking without thinking is like shooting without taking aim. I have to think about that one.
А где этот товарищ-то, блядь? Что-то его тут тоже не видать. Вот я не могу взять, понятно. Этих золотых эликсиров, блядь. Что, янтарь нашел? Восхитительно. Почирик, походу. А не. Это книга была.
Charles IV of Spain. Now there's no chance of Godoy forgetting who he owes everything to.
А вот это чирик был.
Brutus and his companions taking an oath to kill Caesar.
Ну и чего? Что это взял? Ключ с оккультным символом воздух. Ну заебись, блядь.
Prometheus, punished for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to man.
Ну а где этот товарищ-то, блин? Где его искать? Может сюда куда-нибудь выйти? Нет, сюда он не выходит. И сюда тоже, да? Ага. Попытайтесь переубедить. Так найти сначала надо, ёпта.
Volner's probably still behind the door. I best go out through the balcony just in case.
Твою мать, блядь, херна идешь их тут. Здорово, Димон, спасибо за лайк. Бежи, конечно. Еще чирик. А ну-ка, на вот этот балкон же можно выйти вроде? Отвали, товарищ. Он туда не полетел вниз куда-нибудь? Эх, ни хрена. Так, ну это моя комната, да, так понимаю? Опа, блядь, записка.
Dear Monsieur de Richet, please excuse me, but I am unable to join you at present. However, rest assured that we are doing
Смогу
all we
забрать личную
can
вещь своей матери.
to resolve the case that...
Так, ну это я уже забрал, блядь.
Inferno by Dante. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Lovely lectures, more to
Ну
rest
где
into
этот,
his
блядь?
guests. Very jolly.
Там ломится куда-то, блядь.
Ah, Monsieur de Richet. You wouldn't have seen Duke Manuel by any chance, would you?
I was going to ask you the same question.
I wanted to speak to him, but no one will open the door. I'm not sure he's in there.
If I want to pass through, I'll have to get Volner out of the way.
Отойди, блядь.
He won't
В комнате его нету.
I'll have to find another way of getting into the damned room.
А, если сюда нельзя, понятно. А внизу его нету? Угу, тут стоит какой-то паж, блядь.
What can I do for you, sir? I am at your service day and night, sir.
Have you seen Duke Manuel?
The Duke is in the dining room, sir.
Столовая, блядь, а где столовая? Наверху где-то, что ли? Да нет, наверное. Может, здесь где-то? Это же столовая. Вот он сидит, блядь. Да ёбаный в рот.
Manuel?
Well, well. Monsieur de Richet, I was not expecting you. I am not in the mood, sir, I warn you. What do you want from me, sir?
You and I both serve our countries as best we can, Duke Manuel. We're our ambassadors. It doesn't
Сказал мне
mean we have to
лебезить перед
pose each
ним.
other. France and Spain have always been neighbors and friends. We share common issues, and it's not in our interest to come into conflict, let alone on our own home soil.
All right. You have my full attention, Monsieur de Richet. Make good use of it. Just tell me one thing, Monsieur. Why did you side with Mortimer? He is alone, isolated. The United States can do nothing to help you, and France is surrounded by over 10 countries just waiting for the word to pounce. Really, I do not see why you choose Mortimer.
Oh, it's really quite simple, you know. Whose place are we at? Who can manage to bring together so many influential figures under the same roof?
Technically, Sir Gregory brought more guests than Mortimer.
Yes, but in whose name? Who organized the party, Senor Godoy? Who pays the bills? And you are forgetting something fundamental. Who has the biggest army nowadays?
Yes.
There's no shame in admitting that France is militarily superior to you. That's why you're considering joining forces with other European countries in order to confront us.
I agree that Mortimer does have some powerful assets. Tell me, do you really believe Spain has any interest in ceding Louisiana to France?
First of all, the question is to know what Louisiana can be used for. We agree that today, all it brings you is death. Every day, a few more Spaniards die far from their birthplace.
I cannot deny that Louisiana is a veritable quagmire. You have a point there. Tell me one last thing. What would I gain from all this?
You unshackle yourself from Sir Gregory, who, let's face it, takes up a lot of space.
What are you talking about?
My friend, I'm guessing that you wouldn't mind getting a little freedom from the overbearing control he exerts?
I would never have gotten where I am today without him. He is an influential man who is true to his word and who has always given me his full attention.
But he obliges you to...
That's enough. I will not allow you to stab him in the back. Sir Gregory is a respectable gentleman, and your petty manipulations have no effect on me. If that is your only argument, then you are on the wrong track.
My Lord Duke, in these uncertain times,
Давай
I believe it would
укажем,
be to your advantage to be rid of Louisiana in order to focus your attention on your colonies in the South. It will show the court the man you really are and how much you truly deserve your position.
And it will silence all the jibes and jeers aimed at my person. Then people would only see me as the man who consolidated the frontiers of the Spanish Empire.
What a statesman you are.
Come on, you fool, give it up. You're trapped like a rat.
Monsieur, I am astounded. I did not think you capable, but you have succeeded.
Ну
I will
ебать,
be
я ж вообще,
more
блядь,
wary
политик
of
я
you the next
ебать.
time. Nonetheless, if you can guarantee Lord Mortimer's support, then yes, you can count on my vote when the time comes. However, I expect you to be discreet with regard to my former partners, without which our agreement will become null and void.
Of course, my Lord Duke. You can count on me. Lord Mortimer will be delighted to hear the news.
I hope you know what you are getting into, Louis. I bid you good luck.
Good night, my Lord Duke.
See you tomorrow. Well, that's one thing out of the way. The only thing left to do is wait for the conference to
Ну вон, блядь. Все, отправляемся в постель, нахуй, и ждем завтрашнего дня. Где тут, блядь, интриги плиту, как, сука, тетюшка Шеллоп. Где тут, блядь, там ломится до сих пор. Да, пойдем в эту сторону. Так, тёлки заглянуть нельзя? Нельзя, все, я упустил свой шанс, бля, вдуть кобыли. Ну, братан, ломись там, блядь. Оба, кобыла сама ко мне приперлась.
Duchess, you're here. What a charming surprise. I'm beginning to think you can't be without me.
You have managed to penetrate my armor, sir. Am I disturbing you, perhaps?
Конечно нет, чё, давайте в Индию.
By the way, you surprised me during the conference.
Why is that?
Well, you are going to lose. Why stay with Lord Mortimer?
I believe he has every chance of winning.
My, you are a rash one. However, if ever you want to change sides, please feel free to let me know.
But tell me, you didn't come here to try and make me change my mind, did you?
That's the last thing on my mind, although you would have everything to gain by it.
There's no point trying to persuade me. Don't hold it against me.
Of course not, silly. Louis, if you trust me, you ought to ask yourself why I have chosen home. You do trust me, don't you?
Да хуй знает.
Of course, Emily.
Admit, though, that it does make you think. There's still time, you know. Join us before it's too late.
Unfortunately, my word is my bond. I don't want to leave Lord Mortimer in the lurch.
Very well, as you wish. It's up to you to
Чё,
decide.
опять не вдую ни хера.
Are these visits to Mortimer's always so intense?
Yes and no. My sister doesn't normally disappear like she has. Any news of your mother?
Still nothing, no.
Very well. Can we change subject, please? I didn't come here to go through all that again.
Of course, it's late. You're right.
О как, ну я так и знал, я так и знал.
Come, Louis.
Чё, опять кетчуп? Твою мать.
My friends, do not worry. I assure you that Lord Mortimer's plan will never see the light of day. I shall deal with informing our allies, but for the time being, I need you to make a stand.
What do you think about Monsieur de Richet?
I don't know yet. I feel there's great potential in him. He looks like he can be trusted. And Duchess Hillsborough. Oh, why isn't she here? She's busy. Don't worry about her.
Oh, isn't it time to
В этот момент наш пердолится с Луи, блядь.
She is an important figure. You ought to have a little more
Привет,
faith
ребят,
in
кто
her.
присоединился.
What are we going to do about
Что будем делать с Вашингтоном?
He will be a hard nut to crack.
Да пошел он нахуй, старый мудак. В нашей шахматной партии он король Мортимер. Переживает, мистер президент лишь хочет сохранить свою Америка. Америка. Он не будет ставить под угрозу все, чего достиг. Он давно служит Мортимеру, целует ему носки, будет не просто завербовать его. Куда завербовать, блядь? У нас все хорошо. Please. Какая отвратительная рожа. Короче, эти флешбеки, у него нихуя не флешбеки, блять, а то, что происходит на самом деле, прям в настоящее время. Вот.
Emily?
Угу.
Emily?
Эмили по кроватям скачет, блять. Как Марио, блять, по грибам.
Sir, the conference is about to begin.
Вас ожидает за
Tell them
несобрание.
I'm coming. Thank you. Come on, Louis. The game is back on.
Давай, ты снова говори. Когда мы, блядь, будем бабку искать-то, блядь? Опа, нихуя нас телепортнуло. Все такие важные сидят.
My friends, the conference is about to begin. Please excuse me if I troubled you last night with my project. I understand that you might well have a few questions to ask. As you know, the final vote will be
Голосование пройдет через несколько дней. Сейчас я хотел бы ответить на вопросы, выслушать ваше мнение и убедиться, что мы достигли согласия.
And check the temperature of your respective positions so that we may reach a greater understanding.
As always, Lord Mortimer.
We parted in perfect disagreement, my lord. Where would you like us to take it
О
from?
каком согласии идет речь?
Please let William believe he still has a chance of winning us over. Otherwise, his imprecations will lack panache, and we shall be bored stiff.
Oh, let me assure you, I am convinced that
Все же хорошо обдумали за ночь, поэтому не сомневаюсь, что сегодняшнее обсуждение будет гораздо интереснее.
Even more interesting. Therefore, I would like to go around the table in order to hear everyone's first impressions.
Well, I am still firmly against it, even though my choice won't count.
Against.
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 And you, Luke Manuel?
Well, you see, it is more complicated and
Come, Gregory. Don't try to impress my guests, please.
They are not your guests.
Gregory, anyone under my roof is by definition my guest. You included. I would be very grateful if you would let my guests speak. Duke Manuel, you were saying you still had some doubts?
Well, you see, the situation has changed since last night.
What's going on here, my Lord Duke?
You see, I gave it some thought during the night. New arguments have come to light.
What do you mean, Duke Manuel?
Sir Gregory, I regret to inform you that Spain will not support you in this operation.
Вот так вот,
I
блядь.
vote for.
Переобулся нахуй.
I is against you, young man, and you behave like a yapping little dog.
When the French armies are at your door, my Lord Duke, you will change your tune. Well, as for me,
Пизда, я
I am
войну
for
развязал,
Lord
блядь.
Mortimer's project, despite Duchess Hillsborough's overwhelmingly convincing nocturnal attentions.
What?
Что?
Emily was playing at trying to win over guests last night?
It was nothing more than a friendly little chat, of course.
Да ладно ты,
How
блядь,
could it be
пердолилась.
otherwise? And by the way, remember me to your husband when you see him. And you, President Washington, what is your position?
For, of course.
Well, that leaves just yourself and Monsieur Peru, Louis.
You're all making me sick. Look at yourselves.
What?
You are pathetic!
Have you been drinking or what?
There you are, quibbling away. My Lord Duke this, and Madame Duchesse that. You know very well that we're nothing but puppets on a damn string.
Jacques, really?
Let's end the charade. It's over.
Jacques,
My lord, thank you for everything you've done for me over the years. But it didn't come for free. And now I see the price is too high to pay. I'll stop.
come, Jacques, we'll talk it over.
No, I'm finished. I want my freedom back.
А чё я не могу вмешаться?
I shall no longer work for you.
Wait!
Dorisé, you just can't help it, can you? Stop trying to play the hero, man!
Нихуя он решил, ебать.
Monsieur, I know I don't really know you, but you seem like a decent person.
I have done so many horrible things!
You blame yourself, I can see that. Everything's not lost.
I don't want to do bad things anymore.
You can take control of yourself again. You can fix whatever it is you've done.
Do you really believe that?
Of course, Jacques. You'll have all the time you need.
Чего, блядь?
Jacques, you're not alone.
There's nothing you can do against him.
Of course there is. We've already started.
How can you say that knowing he's already probably gotten rid of your mother, Louis?
No, he hasn't. She's still here. She's alive, Jacques.
But
Yes, trust me. Calm down now, Jacques. It's over.
you have no idea what you just put me through.
It would be nice if we could all settle down a bit.
Нихуя себе, блядь.
Let us thank Louis for his intervention. It was very courageous of him. Monsieur Peru could have seriously hurt someone if Monsieur Dorisé
Покот, я
had
ебать
not
нихуя
stopped you.
себе надо.
Your behavior is unacceptable. You would do better to go and rest in your apartment. My friends, we shall continue the conference later. I would like to apologize for the inexcusable behavior of my guest. We all need to recover from all of this excitement.
Ну опять
Take the rest of the day off.
пиздёшь, блядь. Политические интриги. Собрание. Развилки. Мог раскрыть тайны Жака Перу. Раскрыть тайну, блядь. Ну как вот мне узнать, блядь, что я могу сделать, что я могу не сделать? Провел ночь, блядь, с Эмили. Ну понятно, блядь. Ладно. Продолжим. 4, значит. Что это? Убеждение, этикет, наука, хитрость, блядь. Вот это вот мне нужно, по-моему. Чтоб я мог взламывать, хотя... Где там эти сраные языки? Или что там еще? Блядь. А здесь я могу что-нибудь добавлять? Да, вроде могу, блин. Уровень 2. Бдительность, допрос. Но эти у меня по умолчанию добавляются. Это языкознание, блядь, нужно. Это что, политика? Давай политику тоже прокачаем. Это мало ли. Вечно какая-то херня, блядь, получается. Я ни хера не могу выбрать.
I don't understand. I spoke to him only recently.
Monsieur Peru has lost his mind. It's obvious.
Yet another way for the French to make a spectacle of themselves. Well, once again it has worked.
My friends, let us
Ребятки,
settle down.
давайте
please.
немножко поузнем. Я сейчас отлучусь на пару минут и подойду.
Let us celebrate.
обсуждать буйного, блядь,
Louis's
товарища,
courage.
блядь.
He enabled us to avert a tragedy.
Yes, that was very noble of you, Louis.
You have given us all a fine lesson in courage.
Thank you.
He owes you his life. That's quite something.
That madman deserves to die.
We are providing Mr.
Какой
Peru
кровожадный
with
мудак,
care,
блядь.
but rest assured, he is no longer a danger to himself or anyone else. I think everyone needs a little rest. Can you stay a moment?
Of course.
Так. Доступные манускрипты 3 могу прочитать. Логика. По-любому открываем. Языкознание. Психология это что такое? Еще одна логика. Эрудиция. Ловкость. А что еще есть? Допрос. Это не могу открыть. Эрудиция. Этикет. Уклонение. Может, логику все-таки. Это на ловкость нужна нам. Ага. Вот так вот, блядь. Вот так вот я, короче, мощно, блядь, задвинул. Блядь, вечно боюсь жать на левую кнопку мышки, потому что боюсь, он поебало кому-нибудь даст. Привычка, блядь, других игр.
You have given us all a wonderful lesson in courage.
Don't mention it, my lord. You would have done the same. I was just quicker.
Humility is a fine quality, sir.
Where is he now?
In his room. I've sedated him. I don't want him trying to take his life again. Or, worse yet, attacking one of the guests. When in despair, Monsieur Peru is clearly a dangerous man.
Одноглазый, блядь, бугай.
Tell me, my lord, can you think of any reason why he would be so terrified of you?
Terrified? Come now, that's a bit harsh.
Да походу он вампир, блядь.
Able to put things into perspective.
Или демон ебаный какой-то, нахуй. Плетет интриги, тут у себя, блядь, на бугру сидит.
I don't believe I'm such a difficult friend.
Having spoken to him, I can assure you that he feared you even more than death itself. Had he disappointed you in any way recently?
Of course, he was on the edge. He was desperate, and it grew noticeable in his work. Our collaboration was probably coming to an end, but I certainly didn't feel the need to threaten him, ever.
But without you, no more support, no more money. It was an end to his social status. If you lost, he lost everything, didn't he?
No, not his life.
Thanks to me, I guess. On that note, my lord, I'll be leaving you. Have we covered everything?
Absolutely. Oh, Louis, one more thing,
Да
please.
ёб твою мать, блядь.
I wanted to thank you for your support during the conference. You've made the right choice, and it gives me tremendous satisfaction to have you with me on this project.
What is at stake is worth it, my lord. Now, I won't hide from you the fact that I have no idea by what miracle we could ever get a unanimous vote.
Trust me, Louis. We still have a few more cards to play. You'll see. Anything can happen in politics.
I'll see you later, my lord.
Ну, пошли. Вернитесь в свою комнату. Вернемся, блядь, в свою комнату. Мы умеем. Я уже практически выучил этот ссаный замок, блядь. Или что это за поместье? Штуку в сторону, да? Заебись, выучил. Ну да. Нет, не да. Блядь, куда мне? Сука, мне в обратную сторону, блядь. Охуенно его выучил, конечно. Жак Перу, блядь.
I already mentioned it yesterday. Either to you or to someone else. Impossible to tell with you people.
Ты чё орёшь?
Your yes is not sufficient. Tell the others for crying out.
Monsieur Bonaparte.
Ты чё орёшь, блядь?
Louis, once again, bravo for what you did. If it weren't for you, Peru would have blown his brains out. You've got courage. I like this. We just lost a vote for the next conference, and we already had fewer votes than Holm. I must absolutely find a solution.
Yes, yes indeed. But I believe if Lord Mortimer is still confident, it's because he still has a few cards up his sleeve.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so. Unfortunately, that vote of Godot you acquired is probably not going to suffice.
Well, it's still more than what you've done, isn't it?
I see you have a short fuse, monsieur. As someone who just started a war with Spain, if I were you, I wouldn't get on my high horse so quickly. In short, we haven't a minute to lose. I'll leave you now.
Just a minute. What did Duchess Hillsborough propose last night?
Oh, nothing worth worrying about. The pretty little pudding eater found no better tactic than to threaten me. She would have been better off sliding into my bed. At least we wouldn't have wasted part of the night talking for nothing.
Threatened you, you say?
That's what I said. I think I'm going to have to be careful of English troops crisscrossing the Mediterranean for a while. The witch would let loose the wrath of the English crown on my august person.
Августейшую персону, ебать нахуй. Ну да, там по истории вроде он охуенно, блядь, тщеславный был, блядь. Бонапарта.
I'm in a hurry. I have to go now. I will see you later.
Понятно, блядь. Кто здесь, блядь? К нему можно заскочить, блядь?
Sorry, sir, but you cannot go through.
Ты откуда здесь появился, ебать? Ёбаный волшебник. Колдун ебаный. Сука. Так, это ж у нас...
Duchess Emily Hillsborough.
Так, не могу еще раз наведаться.
No answer.
Уже другого ебет кого-то, сука, блядь. А может опять у меня в комнате тасуется. Понравилось, блядь. Сука, сцена пошла, блядь.
Next time, I'll listen to my mother. Not a day has gone by without something happening to me. What now?
Что теперь-то?
Louis, open up, please.
Coming, Mr. President, I'm coming.
Блять, Вашингтон приперся. Тебя я ебать не буду однозначно.
Louis, there you are at last.
Yes, I
just saw your mother. She was accompanied by Emily, and they both went into the Duchess's room. I tried to join them, but I was refused entry. Louis, this does not bode well.
Oh shit. Emily might want to avenge her sister. I must act quickly.
You're right, Mr. President. Thank you.
Бегом, блядь, беги, ёбаный в рот. Беги как ветер. Чё там было? Он мне уже бубнят, я слышу, блядь, пиздёж. Ага, драхма нашел. Доходит, блядь, каждый раз.
I do believe that's Emily's voice. I can't understand what she's saying.
Открыть дверь нахуй. Да ёб твою мать. А ну давай взломаем нахуй. Я ж тут хитрости себе, блядь. Охуеть, сколько развел.
It must be blocked on the other side. I'll have to find another way in, quick.
Ну давай, блядь, найдем через этого Перу, блядь, или кто там нахуй. Смогу я через него пробраться? Кто здесь, блядь? Давай, блядь. И что это случилось?
Damn it. It's closed. Seems like the key is still in the lock on the other side. That means I won't be able to pick it. Or I could do as I did the last time in the tower room. Slowly, Louis. Nice and slow.
It's not a very complex lock. I'm sure I can force it if I can just find something to smash it with.
А ну,
Looks like
блядь.
I've got no choice here. Let's try brute force and ignorance.
Кому я тут, блядь, заломился-то? А ну нахуй, блядь. Тут нельзя пройти. А здесь можно.
It's as if there are several people inside.
Once again, you're the one who's the victim in all this.
A letter from
What are
William
you on
the
about
Younger,
now? I
addressed
should
to
never have told you what happened to
present
me.
Prime
That's
Minister of
what
the
was,
United
and you know
Kingdom.
it full
A
well.
letter
I'm
from
not that
William Pitt
naive.
the Elder,
I know you
addressed to
inside
Emily.
out.
Two
Stop.
coils circle the
We'll end
lock.
up losing everything if you keep on.
Хуй там, нечем мне ее не взламывать. О, блядь.
What on earth is... You...
Завалила нахер.
Mother?
How dare you do this to me? You can talk. After everything I've done for you, you
О,
are
блядь, их
joking,
две?
I hope, right? I gave you my life. That's enough, Emma. Now that Louis is here, you will leave Sarah alone. Cease your revenge immediately. What? If you think you're going to... Louis, help me, I beg you. I can no longer reason with her. I am Emily. Quit playing games. What? Honestly, don't be ridiculous.
Я не знаю, как вас...
I am Emily. You are wasting your time. Louis knows very well how to tell us apart. After everything we've been through together.
Yes, well...
Don't you dare bring him into this. This is between you and me. I ask for nothing more, so stop taking it out on Sarah. You pretty little bitch! How dare you! Now that I've told you everything, you want to take my place, do you? You are joking, I hope. I'm the one who told you everything that's been going on while you were away. Go on then. That's what you want, isn't it? You want to kill me? Go on then, shoot! After all the trouble I've gone through to find you. Go on. What are you waiting for? Here, Louis, take this.
Wait, what's going...
An entire life for this. Go on, shoot. Sorry, Louis, I can't shoot her. She's my sister. That's enough, Emma. Louis, out of the way. She's dangerous. Don't trust her. What are you trying to do? Louis, out of the way. I am not Emma. Come on, Louis, tell her who the real Emily is.
Wait,
That's right, Louis. I'm fed up with this little game. Tell him who the real Emily is.
Why do these things always happen to me?
Well, Louis, come on, you know how to tell us apart, right?
Yes, but... I'd like to ask you a few questions to make sure there's no doubt.
Твою мать, блядь.
Rational and open, Louis. Let's see. How can I tell them apart? Wait, I've got an idea.
On the night of our arrival...
Девушку позади, да, спросим. Кто был с нами, блядь? А чё она мне дала-то, блядь?
You handed me something. I wasn't feeling very well, and you handed me something. What was it?
My handkerchief, and you stained it with your blood. You still have it, as a matter of fact. But she already knows all this, Louis. It's a waste of time.
Right. Let's find something else. Ah, yes. Let's speak about my arrival at the manor.
Девушка позади. Блять, ну это понятно. Вот все это.
Once at the manor, we split up into two groups. What group did I choose?
You decided to follow Sir Gregory and Cardinal Piaggi into the small salon, and he ran into Miss Adams. Of course you know all this. I'm the one who told you about it.
Very well.
Let's try something else.
On the first night, we went up to bed, but I wasn't tired. I went for a little stroll. Before going to bed, I went for a stroll. Did we speak to each other during that stroll?
A stroll? Through my room in the middle of the night. You call that a stroll, Louis?
No, I grant you that. I just wanted to make sure. What did we say to each other at that precise moment in time?
I asked you what you were doing there, what you were playing at on the balcony, and if it was anything to do with the Golden Order.
And then?
Then I suggested you first ask permission the next time you wanted to go through my room. But she knows all that, Louis. I already told her. Don't think you're going to get away with this deception so easily. I can assure you, you're going to regret pretending to be me once Louis has exposed you.
Right. I don't think I'll get very far like this. I'll have to find something better.
Oh, I don't think I'll even wait until he's finished.
Take it easy now.
Are you mad, Louis?
Lower your arm.
I better act quickly if I don't want things to get out of hand.
Come on, she's putting one over on you. Look at yourself for crying out loud. You were prepared to shoot me down.
In the secret room behind the study. Talk to them about what you've been doing. Maybe they haven't spoken about it between each other yet.
On the night of the disappearance of Elizabeth Adams.
What about it? What do you want to know about that night?
We found ourselves in Mortimer's secret gallery. What did we find in that room?
A load of old junk that Mortimer had collected. A so-called Pandora's box in the form of an urn, an old sheepskin that he must take for the Golden Fleece, the Bible of Judas, property deeds as old as the hills, and a broken old sword. You are wasting your time, Louis. She already knows all that. Of course I do. I was there. That's enough! I've had enough of this charade. Louis, there's only one way to tell us apart. There's just one thing I didn't tell her about in detail. Too bad for you, Emma. I didn't want it to come to this, but you leave me no choice. Ask her about you and I. You just lost, Emma. I indeed didn't tell you everything about it. Come, Louis. Speak about our intimacy.
Very well. Let's talk about us. When you came to my room last night, what did we talk about?
I beg your pardon, but I didn't go into your room last night. There you are! The mask is off! What do you mean? Sorry, Emma. I didn't tell you everything.
She's right.
You little bitch. She is manipulating you, Louis.
That's enough, both of you. Now I know who the real Emily is.
It's you, Emily.
No, Louis! She is manipulating you!
No, Emma. It's her. I know it. Despite all the trouble you've gone to put one over on me, I know.
Да твою мать, я неправильно выбрал, блядь, это Эмма, Эмили, блядь, путает пиздец.
Don't think you are going to get away with this so easily. You are going to stop your little game right now. Never. I am Duchess Hills. No.
Emily?
I am the Duchess.
But
you don't. Dear God, what have I done? See what you've done. See?
Louis?
Mother!
What on earth is...
Go away! You must go. Everyone is going to arrive.
Louis, what's going on?
Duchess? Is everything all right?
Come on, Louis! There's nothing more you can do!
But I...
Leave us.
Я неправильную выбрал, блядь.
Mother, go to the crypt. I'll meet you there.
I'll be waiting for you.
Emily.
Madam, I am coming in.
It was bound to end like this, Louis. Let me stay with her. Please, go. I'll cover you.
What? What are you doing there? Stop!
Все, опять я поебалу получил. За дверью что-то происходит. О, блядь, кого опять вырубили? Блядь, она деда вырубила нахер опять. Бабка это пиздец, ебать, я клянусь. Просто, блядь, спецназ в одном лице нахер. Через что это, блядь, это Бонапарта комната, что ли? Треуголком валяется на этом. Блять, я ж не ту выбрал, твою мать.
Good God! They're all here. They must have heard the gunshot.
Where is Lord Mortimer?
Can anyone hear anything through the door?
Did you hear that? I was not dreaming, was I?
Certainly not, Duke Godoy.
What's going on?
Someone had the bang coming from the Duchess's room, and she isn't answering.
Gentlemen, go back to your rooms. Go back to your rooms. I shall find out from Lord Mortimer what this is all about. Thank you.
Склеп. Склеп это внизу, что ли? Ну, пиздец, конечно. Так. Блять, мне, по-моему, сюда. Сюда же, да? Или не сюда? Блять, по-моему, не сюда. Может, надо дальше пройти? Там будет выход в сад. Да, хуёво, я знаю, блять, это. Нет, тут, по-моему, библиотека. Точно, блять, библиотека. Твою мать, опять заблудился нахер. Так. Сюда я, значит, выйти не могу. А тут что? Ага. А вот здесь да сад, по-моему, или нет? Хуя тут не сад. Так, это сраный, блядь. А сюда что за дверь? Кто я тут пришел? А вот и сад, блядь. А, там через второй этаж же нужно было, точно. Круга, блядь, дал.
Louis! At last, there you are.
Mother, wait,
Come, we have to be quick.
No, wait, Mother,
Time is running out, Louis. First, we must...
No! That's enough. I won't go a step further unless you explain to me what is going on here. I'm begging you. Talk to me.
You must trust me, my son. You are not ready yet.
You're the one who should trust me. Tell me what's happening.
You would never believe me.
I came all the way here for you. Now I've found you. I'm ready, Mother.
If only... Louis, I have always taught you to keep your mind open and rational. I know you are going to find this hard to believe, but what I am going to reveal to you is entirely true. Many years ago, I found out that demons really do live among us.
I beg your pardon?
And that they can influence our thoughts.
Mother, listen to yourself. I know you're exhausted, but for crying out loud, listen to what you're saying. Demons? What next? An ancient monster with a head like an octopus? What do your demons look like? Have they got horns and a pointed tail?
No, these are not creatures with billy goat's legs. Forget your Christian folklore. Imagine them more as parasitic spirits. They possess their hosts and direct them from inside.
Parasitic spirits?
Yes, they are capable of going from one body to another as they see fit. And 2 of them are present on this island.
Right. So let me guess.
Yeah.
Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory, right?
You felt it too?
No, even if home does look the part. But I don't know who else could do it, given that we're on their territory.
Many years ago, well before you were born, I crossed paths with one of them. Since then, I've spent my life trying to find it again. When we recovered the Alizif, I was persuaded that von Burchard was working for this demon in one way or another. But I thought he would hand the book to a middleman during this conference. That's where I made an error that could well turn out to be fatal. The one who Burchard was meant to give the book to was none other than the demon in person, Mortimer. Not to mention that Holm had sent Volner to get it for him.
Holm and Mortimer are demons?
They both seem to disagree about many things, but I'll admit I never knew exactly why. There are many of them, Louis, not just those 2.
Mother, have you any proof to support any of this?
Of course, but you do too. You had everything laid out in front of you. Didn't you notice anything?
Well, those property deeds across the world, all signed by the same hand and over several centuries.
I am proud of you, Louis.
I found your notes written in lemon juice.
Where all eyes size you up. At one stage, I was so afraid of losing my mind that I noted everything down. Congratulations, Louis. Wait, please tell me you didn't open Pandora's box.
The urn? No, I didn't. Why?
Good. We'll deal with it later.
I went beyond the nightmare, Mother.
You understood the Masonic date.
1191.
Of course! It was during that siege that the demon took possession of Sir Mortimer. They spent a whole night in conversation until the early hours of the morning. Mortimer had passed the test. He had charmed the demon, and so it chose him to be its host for centuries to come. But tell me, did you find his secret study?
I did indeed.
Did you see his maps of the world?
He has contacts the world over.
Yes, I've been developing the Golden Order across the world for many years, and I've never seen anyone with such influence. It's simply inhuman.
You mean the conference?
How can you explain that someone manages to bring together so many important figures without anyone knowing?
And without any security or personnel. Well, those property deeds across the world, all signed by the same hand and over several centuries.
I am proud of you, Louis.
I found your notes written in lemon juice.
Where all eyes size you up. At one
Блять,
stage, I was
недоработана эта
so
хуйня, что
afraid of
когда выбрал,
losing my
блядь, один
mind
из
that I
вариантов ответа,
noted
он
everything down.
убирался, и не можно было его,
Congratulations,
блядь, выбрать
Wait,
повторно.
please tell me you didn't open Pandora's box.
The urn? No, I didn't. Why?
Good. We'll deal with it later.
I must admit, I found it difficult to understand how and why Mortimer didn't have a place in history.
On the continent, Mortimer and Holm are mere dandies who organize society balls. History forgets them with a disconcerting facility. No one speaks about them, and yet they whisper in the ears of kings and presidents. Louis, I am proud of you. You came all this way, you found me, you have surpassed me.
You taught me everything I know. Right. How did it all begin?
I saw him!
What do you mean you saw him?
I was 20 years old. I was young and carefree. I traveled the world in search of adventure. In the Persian Gulf, we came across an ancient grimoire that became unlocked. Composed of 7 parts, Each one was a book in itself, set in a sort of metal armor that structured the whole thing. When all the volumes were brought together, they formed a single book. On my return to Paris, I set to studying these pages. I spent all my days and nights studying them.
Oh, I can imagine you doing that.
But the writing was in a language I had never seen before, developed well before Sumerian in my opinion. So I got the idea to form a small occult circle composed of all the major names in the occult world to see if anyone else could crack it.
And you found no one.
And I found someone, Louis. I found him, or rather he found me. He was young, charismatic, he was flamboyant.
Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Von Borchert?
No, Mortimer, of course. He was a veritable mine of knowledge. I showed him the book, and he was able to decipher a few passages. We spent several months together studying the pages. He helped me understand certain passages until I realized that he only translated a few parts for me, but I had aroused his interest. It was too late.
How so?
I mean to say he manipulated me. He used me, and in the end, he stole the book with all its secrets.
Did he ever go to your place?
Not once. At least I don't think so. But before disappearing, he proposed a pact between us. He proposed that I follow him and let him teach me, allow him to bring me up.
And you accepted?
Please don't be stupid. You don't make deals with the devil. After that, I spent my whole life looking for him. 3 years later in Berlin, I just missed him. In London, I lost 6 members of the order in a chase. In 1741, in Tunisia, I found a sect of fanatics who had crossed paths with him once. 1741, in Poland. 1749, in India.
8 years ago in Venice.
We agreed never to speak about what happened in Venice, Louis.
You agreed, and that was before you spoke to me about demons. Wait, the baby we delivered, you and me, that night in Venice, did he have anything to do with Lord Mortimer?
The child was his son.
We stole his son? Are you insane? I always thought we took him to save him.
That was the case. It was precisely to save him from his father.
Need I remind you the mother died during childbirth? What became of the child?
Later. For the moment, that is not the key issue here. Once we found the Alazif in Paris, I followed von Borchert's trail here. I didn't think it would lead me straight to the demon. It was careless of me. He toyed with me for a few days, until I caught on, until I saw him as he was. But he had no intention of letting me leave. We are all his pawns, Louis, and if we don't want to spend the rest of our lives turning round in circles here, we must absolutely get off this island. All right, can we move on?
Wait a minute, one last thing. I want to know what happened between you and Emily's sister.
Great responsibility often brings difficult choices, Louis. That's all you need to know.
All right. But you're not getting away with it so lightly. Once we get back to Paris, be sure I won't be letting it go.
We'll see in Paris then.
I want to know what happened with Elizabeth Adams.
Louis, we haven't time for those details.
I'm sorry, Mother, but I want to know.
She was one of the receptacles for these monsters. I met her parents when she was born. One of the demons got inside her. The demon used her to spy on her father, John Adams. He is one of the founding fathers and vice president of the United States, you know.
Mortimer possessed her?
No, I don't think it was Mortimer. Her father, John Adams, hired me to tend to her, but the evil in her was too deep. In spite of the various treatments I tried on her, I never succeeded in getting it out of her. It's not something I'm proud of, Louis, but I had to try everything.
Do you know who killed her?
Absolutely not.
On the evening of my arrival, Cardinal Piaggi came looking for you. He was determined to give you a letter.
More of his lists. Louis, I think I know what's in that letter, and I beseech you to believe that it is the least of our worries. We can sort that out later.
Are you going to tell me what happened to your hand?
Better than that. I shall show you.
Good. I think that's about right. We shall speak about it once we get back to France.
Great actions for humanity have been decided by demons for centuries, Louis. They are playing with our destiny. We are their slaves. And it's time for it to stop. By the way, what was Mortimer's project at this conference?
He wants the United States to occupy all the North American territory. France should recover Louisiana and give it to the United States. In that case, the Americans would just have to push west to chase the Spanish from the continent once and for all.
And as Mortimer controls Washington, you may just as well say that it will put him at the head of a world superpower. We should do our utmost to put a stop to Mortimer's plans. But for the time being, there are more pressing matters.
Are you going to tell me why
у нее,
we're
блядь,
here?
демон не вселился.
There. That's why we are here.
И что это за хуйня? Крест, блядь, Назарет. Вот такая вот херня, блядь. Развитие. Мог пройти через комнату Жака Перю, чтобы попасть на балкон. Ну и ладно, блядь. Четыре очка. Так. Вот она, хитрость у нас второго уровня, да? Угу, достигнута, заебись. Что у нас там еще? Политика. Политики вообще у меня ни хера никаких, блядь. Это ж первого уровня, да? Тут у меня все второго уровня. Уклонение. Открывает варианты ответов 10. Да мне ни хера ни на что не хватит. Вот тут что-то у нас этикет. Давай вот второго уровня уже. Или какого первого хотя бы. Наука. Эрудиция. Ну, 2 очка у нас осталось. Что мы можем себе позволить? У нас все первого уровня. Оккультизм открыть. Или эрудицию. География, истории, мифология, оккультизм, религиозных символов, древних языков и тайных обществ. Убеждения, блядь. Наука. Науки медицины, блядь. Заставлять у людей или действовать в ваших интересах. Ну давай. Все, все. Здорово, ребят, кто присоединился. Спасибо за лайк.
Reassure me, we aren't going to have to force that one, are we?
I don't think we're even capable of doing it. You're going to have to find a way to open it.
Так,
Why, of
ехали
course.
дальше.
And what's inside?
Something to vanquish them with?
Perfect. So, how does it open?
We'll need several keys. I found a note from the architect who conceived the mechanism in Mortimer's secret study. We have to first gather 5 objects before we try anything.
Are the 5 objects the keys?
Exactly. We have the Clement III cross,
Yes,
the nails, the Gutenberg Bible, the exegesis of Judas, an armillary sphere,
А гвозди
and all
где-то
we
видел,
need to
блядь, у
match
него
up
в
the dates
кабинете.
between the different calendars.
Так.
Some nails?
Don't ask me. I'm not the one who made the mechanism, you know. When I arrived, there were already a few of them inserted, so I didn't have to worry about those. On the other hand, I remember seeing some in Mortimer's secret study, behind his nightmare.
Я тоже их там
In a
видел.
golden cup? Yes. Yes, I saw them too.
Perfect. It will be easy for you to find them then. You need 3 of them.
Very well.
You remember what to do about the rollers? 1191 to enter, and 6466 to exit.
6,
Of course.
Так,
Why a
отвести.
cross?
Well, I haven't the foggiest idea, but it just so happens that's what you are going to use to activate the mechanism. I found the one Mortimer kept. It belonged to Cardinal Guibert, better known by the name of Pope Clement III.
Oh, perfect. Where is it?
Unfortunately, I've lost it. When I lost my hand, I went dashing out, and it must have fallen from my pocket.
Что за, блядь?
Remember, Mother. I'm certain you can remember.
Let me think.
You were running.
I was bleeding to death.
You remember the pain.
I thought I was going to faint. Yes, I remember. I don't think it can be far, can it?
Would you have lost it outside?
No, I don't think so. It must be in the area. I don't remember going up with it.
Perfect. I'll search the crypt before leaving.
Ага, сначала крест. Спросите
Exegesis.
толкование Иуды, блядь.
Anything else?
Did you manage to vanquish the Medusa?
To open the chimney? Yes, absolutely.
So you've already come across it. It's the Bible of Judas that is exposed in the secret room behind the chimney.
Why do they call it an exegesis?
Because that's what it is, and not an apocryphal Bible, strictly speaking. It's the study of a text with a summary, not an actual Bible. Anyway, well done for the Gorgon. You did well. You didn't get tricked by the light bouncing back.
Thanks. Do you think I can take it safely?
We haven't got a choice, Louis. Without it, we won't be able to work out this cursed mechanism.
Так, ну и что еще?
This is the book in which you left your correspondence with Duchess Hillsborough, isn't it?
That's right.
You still believe it's in the tower room, don't you?
I don't know. There is only one way to find out, though.
Right. I shall go and see. There's one in the portrait gallery.
Yes, but it's enormous. If you don't want to have to go back and forth several times, then I suggest you get a smaller one.
What did you do then?
I didn't think I'd need one. I started without one, and I lost my hand before I did need one. And you can see the result.
What do you mean by the concordance of dates exactly?
Don't worry about that. We already have them. They are written on the back of the message I just gave you.
Так, ну чё, блядь. Значит, гвозди у него в кабинете. Крест, блядь. Крест где-то здесь меня проебало. Иуда у нас в этой хуйне там находится. В тайной комнате. Книга. Чё, что
This is the
Библия?
book in which you left your correspondence with Duchess Hillsborough, isn't it?
That's right.
You still believe it's in the tower room, don't
В
you?
башенной
I don't
комнате.
know. There is only one way to find out, though.
Right. I shall go and see.
Чё спросить о датах? А, ну и всё.
One last thing before you go. Be very careful. If you come across anyone, they can all potentially be spies of Mortimer or Holm. Don't ever confide in anyone because a demon can slip inside them at any moment.
Wait, not all of them though. Take Washington.
Especially Washington. He's been conditioned by Mortimer for years. Look at them, for crying out loud. How do you explain their behavior otherwise? The most influential politicians in the Western world gather together without the least protection, without a single aid to assist them, to participate in a conference during which the guests start dropping like flies. Me, Adams, Peru, Hillsborough. Look at the number of calamities that have happened over the past few days. And not one of them has asked to leave the island? Do you find that normal? You'll see. Go up to the manor to look for the keys, and I wager not one of them will speak to you about my being in Emily's room.
Do you think so?
Go on, you'll see. And come back with all the objects in one go. Time is against us. And remember, the code to get out of the secret office is 6466.
6466. Так, опять у нас 3 есть. Допрос. Эрудицию возьмем. Логику, блядь. Уклонение, да? Давай. А это что появилось? Этикет. 2 этикета. Уклонение. Почти все книги, блядь. Так, ну что ж. А ключи мы будем... Вот, так. Вот, блядь. Вот, все. Эмма оставила в башенной комнате. Ну вот, у нас уже есть, короче, список, блядь. На обратной стороне подсчет дат, блядь. Это что за хуйня такая, блядь? На обратной стороне, блядь, подсчет Шабана какая-то 23, блядь. Равно 7. Для чего вообще вот эта хуйня нужна, блядь? А, это вот блядь, сферу нужно, да, блядь, равно 6. Ниссана 3, хуй-то какая-то, блядь, непонятная, я клянусь. В общем, искать мы будем в следующий раз. А на этом, ребят, я с вами прощаюсь. Спасибо, кто зашел, спасибо за лайки, ребят. Всем пока.